Hello and welcome to Monson Made This. This is the 100th episode of my channel, or on my channel. And for this 100th episode, I wanted to do a Q&A. I also wanted to do a kitchen and pantry tour, but I decided to separate those into two separate videos. So today I'm just going to be filming the Q&A. So I posted on Instagram as well as on Facebook, on YouTube, that I was going to be doing this Q&A, so if you had any questions to message me. And so I got a bunch of questions on Instagram, I got a few questions on YouTube, and I basically just kind of put them together categorically, and I'm going to be answering those for you here today. So yeah, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for watching this video. If you've been here for a long time, thank you. I really appreciate it. I just hit 10,000 a couple of videos ago, and that's a huge step for me. So I thank you to all of you that have subscribed, that have been there since the beginning, or that have just recently subscribed. So thank you and welcome. The questions that I have here, I kind of just organized in a way so they kind of just fit together. So I don't really remember who asked the questions. I didn't note who it was that sent me those messages, so I apologize, but I just wanted to kind of work them together so that they fit into a bit of a narrative. So the first set of questions I'm going to answer here today are about my personal vegan journey and why I'm vegan and what made me go vegan. So the first one is, how long have you been vegan? And I went vegan basically overnight on the 4th of July in 2016, so it will be 3 years this July 4th. And the reason why I went vegan was initially for my health. I had gone to the doctor. I had found that I had like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and I didn't want to go on medications. So I had tried a vegan diet before a couple of times. I always ended up going back to eating meat, but I decided that July 4th, it was basically like moving into the house that I'm in now, and it was a month of eating fast food and being sort of in transit, and I just felt really awful and knew I needed to make a change. So July 4th was our sort of first day like in this house, and grocery shopping that very first day. I just bought all vegan ingredients. I started watching YouTube videos like Hot for Food and the Vegan Zombie, who was doing more like recipe videos at that time. And I just went vegan that day, and I haven't looked back. So initially it was for my health, but at this point it's more for ethical reasons, for animals, for the environment. I think there's a few questions about eating healthy a little bit later on, but I don't think I have the healthiest diet on the planet by any means. I could definitely do better, but I think a vegan diet has helped me in a lot of ways. But the thing that has kept me vegan is definitely for the ethical reasons and not so much for my health at this point. Do you ever think about adding meat to your diet? I don't. I don't at all. I don't think of adding any meat or animal products at this point, going on 3 years. And having gone vegan in the past, plus I like to cook, it just, I don't have a reason to add meat to my diet. I don't need it for nutrition. I feel really good with the diet that I have, and if there's anything that I crave that would be sort of meat-based or dairy-based, I know that I can make a vegan version of it. So, no, I don't think about adding meat to my diet. How do you stay motivated to eat healthy? Well, as I was saying, I don't necessarily feel like I eat the healthiest. For the most part, when I'm just cooking for myself at home, cook very simply: rice, beans, or lentils, some sort of veggie. I don't eat a ton of like mock meats and things like that. I don't eat a ton of vegan cheese. I do like snack foods. I'm the kind of person that if I go to the store and I buy a bag of chips, I will probably eat that bag of chips before anything else. So that's kind of where I have a problem with eating healthier, is that I do love junk food and snack food. So I do try to keep that out of the house. So at this point, I'm trying to eat a little bit more kind of whole food, plant-based, just in myself eating at home. Of course, I still eat out at restaurants. I've been doing some restaurant like reviews and things like that, so I've been eating out quite a bit. But when I do eat at home, I try to eat a little bit healthier, and I guess what motivates me is I don't know, some days I look in the mirror, I'm not necessarily happy. I'm not necessarily happy with the way that I look, so I, want to eat a little bit healthier, so maybe I feel a little bit better about myself. What was your biggest aha moment about going vegan, or when I first started going vegan? So as I said, it just kind of happened overnight, and I would say the biggest aha moment was that it was easy, that I didn't struggle, I didn't feel like I suffered. Again, I like to cook, I like to prepare my own meals, and it was just kind of, all right, I'm doing this, and I did it. I haven't looked back, and I found it to be surprisingly easy. I've been places, I've been to restaurants, of course, where maybe the options aren't great, or I feel like I'm not necessarily having the best meal of my life. I'm ordering foods more like without this, without that, without that. But I think just that it's been easy and haven't really had any major hiccups or any moments or breakdowns or regrets. Just been easy. Is anyone else in your family vegan? No, not at all. Ben, he just recently went vegetarian within the last, say, week and a half, which is good because he was eating just a lot of fast food and things like that. I don't want to try to put his diet on blast here, but when I cook, he eats that food, but, we have kind of different schedules, and so, so he recently went vegetarian, which is great. So at least we have that as a step. Not vegan yet, but, you got to meet people where they are. Do you ever make any exceptions while traveling where vegan options are hard to come by? Nope. Again, things are kind of great. In 2019, things are fairly easy, I find, and I haven't really come into any situations where I couldn't eat and it's oh, well, the only option is to eat meat. Again, I've had some kind of terrible meals. I've eaten less than delicious meals places, but it's never been to the point where I'm oh, screw it, let's eat meat, or, well, that has cheese on it, okay, I'll be fine. Just hasn't. I was at the Lake of the Ozarks for quite a while, and there weren't really any restaurants there at all. The best or the better grocery store, I had to drive around, or at least across the lake to the other side, and it was a 20-minute drive there and back. 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. And I was able to find some specialty products there for the most part, but it was never a problem. Do you still get cravings for Omni foods? Anything in particular? Yeah, of course, absolutely. I think my biggest, I love Chinese food or American Chinese food. I love things like orange chicken and General's chicken and fried rice. I could probably live off that. I was really into sushi for a long time, although I've made a few vegan sushi recipes for my channel. But I still crave those foods often, but it's not the meat that I'm craving. Who even knows what's in those little fried nuggets of orange chicken or General's chicken, but I've found that I can cook vegan versions of those food, and also Vegas, where I live in Las Vegas, we have a lot of vegan options. So there's actually a couple vegan Chinese food restaurants. There's other places that aren't necessarily a Chinese restaurant where you can get things like that. So I can get General's fried cauliflower. I can get vegan General's chicken at a couple different places. So I still want those foods, and if I want to eat them, I can have them, and I don't have to compromise. So along with veganism, I've done a lot of things on this channel, not a lot, but a few different videos about reducing waste or limiting waste. I know a couple of them might be labeled zero waste, but that's not really a possibility. So I got a couple of questions about being low waste or zero waste. So somebody said, I think vegan lifestyle can go hand in hand with low or no waste. Have you done anything like this? So I think was it last year? I think it was last year. I did a plastic-free July. I'll probably do that again. And that was just kind of a challenge for myself to see if I could live without using any plastic. And those videos, if you just look in my channel, they're in last July. You'll see a couple of videos about that. I also have that coffee video. It's zero waste coffee, showing people how to use a Keurig machine without using the pods. So I do have a couple of things on my channel. In terms of my own life, so the next question was, how do you shop ethically with low waste? So when I do that kitchen tour video, and there's another kitchen tour video on my channel if you look for that as well. But I buy a lot of things in bulk. A lot of my grains and beans I buy in bulk. Vegetables, I try to buy those without any plastic, which is oftentimes impossible. I do have reusable produce bags. I do have reusable shopping bags. Excuse me. So anytime I go shopping, I always bring my own bags, try to buy in bulk, try to use my produce bags. Some things you can't. I love tofu. I eat tofu quite a bit. You can't find that in this town in a zero waste fashion, so I buy tofu in plastic. Sometimes cauliflower, if I want a cauliflower, it's in plastic wrapping, so I buy that. I don't stress out about it too much. I do the best I can when I can. Last night I was at a restaurant. The straw came in the glass of water when it got to me. I used the straw. It was already opened. So I guess in my own life, yeah, I've said it. But I try the best that I can. I'm not perfect. You can't be perfect. It's nearly impossible if you live in a city and you're not off the grid, making everything and growing everything yourself. All right, so questions about my own personal life here. So first one, are you in a relationship? Yes, Ben and I have been together for 4 years. It was 4 years, April 20th. So, yes. Career. I know this one was from a student, Chinzia. I was a teacher for 14 years. I resigned last June, actually pretty much exactly a year ago. And she wondered if I missed being one of the best English teachers ever. Thank you. No, I don't miss it. I signed the paperwork. It's incredibly easy to quit being a teacher. You sign your name on a paper and you're done. And I resigned and I never looked back, honestly. The only time I had a moment where I felt a slight bit of regret was the last day of school just a couple of weeks ago, because that feeling of relief and summer break is starting and I had, 11 weeks of paid vacation. I did kind of have a moment of like, oh, I wish that was me right now. But I mean, I've kind of had a year of vacation, so not a big deal. Sorry, my dogs were barking here. What inspired you to make a career change? I guess the biggest thing that made me want to do a career change was that I'm not sure what's going on out there. I was just done. I was tired of it. I was teaching, I taught 6 classes, and I was trying to do this video without having to cut, but I'm going to cut and see what's going on with the dogs, and I'll be right back. I'm back. It was the mailman, so cliche dogs barking at the mailman. Hello. So the question was, what inspired me to make a career change? So I was teaching 6 classes, as most high school teachers do, and 5 of those classes were AP. 1 class was a creative writing class. It was great. It was the sort of best it could ever be. It couldn't get any better in terms of the types of classes that I was teaching. I wasn't ever one of those that found the virtue in kind of helping people. I didn't feel like my skill set was great at kind of inspiring or bringing students up who didn't want to do anything. I think I was better at being able to really assist those students that had their own drive. So that could have been a bit of a downfall on my part, but as always, there's always budget cuts, and so I knew that the following year there was going to be a ton of budget cuts. I saw what my schedule was going to be like. For a couple of years, I hadn't really loved teaching as much. I kind of lost my care. It wasn't because of the students, it was just because of the way that the whole education system was set up and the way that kind of everything came back onto the teachers. If the student didn't want to do his work, The admin wanted you to give the students a good grade. Parents wanted you to give the students a grade. The students knew they could get away without having to do anything because they would be given a grade, and it was ugly, and I hated it, and it made me feel gross. And I'm sure it's not that way everywhere. It's what I felt at that time, and I had the opportunity to be able to leave. I have fairly low overhead, and I just saw the open door, and I went through. So, yeah. Future pursuits. Yeah, is anyone hiring? Is anybody looking for me? This channel is my resume. So if you want to hire me for a position, I can write, photograph, edit videos to an extent, cook. So yeah, I don't have any like solid future plans, but I'm enjoying having the space to figure out exactly what I want to do, and I'm enjoying this channel and enjoying making content. So maybe I should have some more specific goals to work for, but just kind of trying to figure things out. Jobs outside of YouTube. Excuse me. YouTube doesn't pay the bills by any means. It's kind of a weird system. It goes up and down depending on views and specific videos. So it's not paying the bills. I do have a Patreon account set up where I've put some extra content on there. So if people want to help support this channel, they can go and subscribe to Patreon, which I will have linked below. Otherwise, I am a personal assistant to Jackie Sobon, who's also Vegan Yak Attack. And so I help her out. She's working on her new cookbook. I also grocery shop for people. Ben and I have a friend who has an Airbnb, so we clean that once a week or a couple times a week sometimes. Yeah, it's just kind of that gig life, just finding various ways to make money. And honestly, I have to say, like, I love it. I love being able to have my mornings, getting up without an alarm, being able to kind of figure out what I want to do that day. And I'm also working with a local website here in town called Vegan's Baby, and I'll also have that linked below. And it's trying to appease the puppies here. Anyways, it's a website that has vegan dining options here in Las Vegas. So I've been working with her and been able to go to various restaurants in town and write about them and take pictures of the food. You guys, hey. And so that's kind of been a work. I don't get paid for that, but I get to eat at restaurants. So at this point, it's worth it. Recommendations. So somebody asked what I like or appreciate about living in Las Vegas. So I moved here right after I graduated high school, and I haven't left. I came here for college, and it's a city that I've often thought of leaving and moving away from, but it's a really easy place to live. You can basically get whatever you want, 24 hours a day, whatever that may be, food, drinks, fun, it's here. You also can sort of live in your neighborhood and not really deal with the Las Vegas that most tourists or visitors know. And it's kind of a new city. Everything is new. It's growing. The places that you live here, houses, apartments, are pretty well equipped. Dishwashers, garbage disposals. You have washers and dryers in every place that you live, mostly. It's just a really accessible place. The cost of living here is fairly reasonable compared to other cities, and it's really easy to get in and out of. We're close to LA. It's like a 3.5-4 hour drive to LA. Our airport's located in the center of town, so you can fly out whenever you want. Picking up somebody at the airport is like a 10-minute experience, so at least from where I am. So yeah, I like it. I've thought about leaving, but as of right now, it's kind of the perfect place, and it's growing, and the vegan options are great here, which brings me to the next question here about favorite restaurants here in town, or go-to restaurants. I love Thai food. I go to a place called Thailicious quite a bit. They have kind of like a menu that's divided in half. Half of that menu is vegan options. Another great place called Veggie Eat Express, which I love their sandwiches. As I said, check out vegansbaby.com, the website that I write for, and that has quite a few options as well. If you're looking for vegan places to eat in Las Vegas, And outside of Las Vegas, I like a place called Shizen. It's a sushi place in San Francisco, and it's probably like the best meal I've ever had. I've been there twice. But yeah, I think the only places I really go in town are Thylicious or Veggie Eat Express. We have some great vegan restaurants here in town. I just don't necessarily go to them that often. People are interested in podcasts and music that I listen to. Podcasts. I'll put a list below of what I listen to. In terms of vegan podcasts, I love one called Live Planted. Alyssa, the host, she's really great. She does a lot of talk about like zero waste and waste reduction, as well as just kind of practical veganism. I really like that. Our Hen House is a vegan podcast that's a little bit more, I guess political might be the word. It's definitely more animal rights based, and it's interviews with some really interesting people that are doing amazing things. The Plant Proof podcast is also like a plant-based vegan podcast, but that's more about the health aspect of it. I just started listening to a podcast called Pull It Together with Dustin Harder, the vegan roadie, and I don't remember his co-host name, I apologize, but that's a great podcast kind of about getting stuff done, being motivated, trying to be a creative person, being accomplished. Food podcasts I listen to that aren't vegan related, Good Food, which is a KCRW podcast out of LA, and The Splendid Table, which has been around forever. And those are just general food podcasts. More culture ones, I listen to one called Las Culturistas, WTF with Mark Maron, My Brother and Me. And I was listening to a podcast called Race Chasers, which is a RuPaul's Drag Race podcast with Willem and Alaska. But because I'm not caught up with that show right now, I had to stop listening to it. So, in terms of music, I do mostly listen to podcasts, I have to say, in my car or if I'm trying to be productive. Bands that I can listen to just over and over again. I really love Grizzly Bear. I listen to Grizzly Bear quite a bit. It's something I can always just kind of go back to and really just love. I like a lot of 90s stuff from a child, or not a child, I guess I was a teenager in the 90s, so like a lot of early 90s stuff I love. 9 Inch Nails, Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, that kind of stuff. New music, I really love the new Tyler, the Creator album, Igor. I thought it was brilliant. I listened to it repeatedly. But I also listen to things like Beyonce and Rihanna, and I've enjoyed a Taylor Swift album or two. Yeah. Favorite dish. I guess this goes back with the restaurants here. There is a dish right now that is probably my favorite dish in the world, and I'm going to try to say it here. Namsad Cow Todd. It's at a restaurant here, Thylicious, as I just mentioned a second ago. It's this incredible dish. It's like little pieces of fried tofu, rice, onions, ginger, and this like sour, spicy sauce. And it's cold. It's served as a salad, and then it comes with romaine lettuce leaves on the side for you to kind of make like lettuce cups. It's really good. Other YouTube channels, I'm going to link below a bunch of my favorite YouTube channels. I don't want to try to list them here and miss anybody. I created this channel in order to give back to YouTube, because YouTube is what helped me become vegan, or at least the vegan I am today. So there's been a lot of people that have helped me in terms of providing recipes or inspiration. And so I want to provide a list with links. So just look for that below. If there's any others here. Current food inspirations. As I said, I'm trying to eat a little bit more like whole food, plant-based lately, so that's been my inspiration. I've been cooking just like a bunch of grains, rice, quinoa, lentils, beans. I did a bunch of like fermented vegetables. You can see there's that fermentation video a couple videos back. So I've had like kimchi and sauerkraut and pickled things, and so I've been adding them to everything. And as long as you can make a good sort of like cashew-based cream sauce, you got a meal. The pups. What do the pups eat? So I don't want to say the pups are vegan, because occasionally they will have something that isn't, if like somebody gives them a treat, they're not exclusively vegan, but I would say 90%. And I've had people comment below that dogs need meat. They've been on a dog food called V-Dog for, I want to say close to 2 years now. And they seem to be doing really well. They love their food. And I have 2 dogs, Tuffy and Odie. Tuffy's had some medical problems. He has lymphatic cancer. It's in remission right now. And Odie can eat anything, it seems. And they both love the food, and they've both been super healthy on V-Dog. So I strongly recommend that if you're looking for a vegan option for dogs. It has worked for mine, so just look into it. Someone asked me, actually, no, this is my friend Jordan, asked me what my numbered Levi's were. I posted a picture of me in the Levi's store. I like a 5'11 or a 5'14. 5'11, like a smaller size in their stretch. I enjoy that quite a bit. Somebody asked me what my recipe development process was, and I'm going to kind of hold off on answering that in this video just because I think that's a great idea for a full video. So stay tuned for that. Last questions were about the production and creating videos. So this one I'm doing by myself. Ben will definitely help me with the kitchen tour one, but I've kind of got my office going and I want to be able to turn this into a space for filming videos, creating content. So I'm trying this out myself with this Q&A video. But who shoots your videos? Well, for the most part, Ben does shoot them. He is a freelance videographer. If anybody's looking for a freelance videographer in Las Vegas, he's definitely a great one. So he shoots all the videos, he edits them, and he is great at what he does. So I'm very grateful that I have somebody in my life that wants to help me out and is able to do that, and I think does incredible work. And then what is the hardest part about putting out videos? There are so many components to putting a video on YouTube. So you get the idea. You want to make a video, or you want to make a recipe, right? You get an idea for something, or maybe you have I don't know why I'm talking in the second person. Maybe I have an idea like, hey, I ate at a restaurant, I tried something, or I see something on a menu. It's like, you know what? I want to make a version of that, and I want to do a video of it. So I've got to work it out, do research, plan out exactly how I'm going to attempt it. Probably do a test or two, taste it, see how it is, write the recipe, and yeah, then I plan a shoot, talk to Ben, all right, can we shoot on this day? Can we do this? Because it's got to fit into his schedule as well. So then we'll shoot the videos. On average, I would say it's probably about 2.5, 3 hours to shoot a video. Even if it just winds up being a 10, 20-minute video, it's usually about 2 to 3 hours to shoot, just changing the angles, and it's a lot of work. Once the video's shot, he goes and edits it. There's also taking the glamour shots. There's editing those photos. There's actually refining the recipe, putting the recipe on the website, uploading photos to the website, choosing the content that's going to go on Instagram to promote the videos, putting things onto Pinterest to try to promote the video. Then you actually upload the video, create a thumbnail for it, and then hope that people watch it. And that's, I don't know if that's the question of what's the hardest part. There's nothing that's difficult per se, but what appears that you're just filming somebody cooking and then uploading it actually has quite a few components and a lot of steps to it, which I enjoy about half of those steps, and I've got to learn ways to enjoy the others. So that is all of the questions that I have. Thank you to those of you that sent questions on Instagram, and if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. It's at monsonmadethis, same as this channel. And also I posted on YouTube, so thanks to everybody that sent in questions, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the interaction. And again, thank you all for watching and subscribing. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, if this is your first visit here, please do subscribe and click the bell notification so that you are made sure to be notified when I do release new videos. And also subscribe to Patreon if you haven't yet already. Donations help out this channel, help me to create content. And that's where I have what's called Monson Ate This. And basically when I finish a recipe video, I do kind of a not really a mukbang, kind of just eating and talking, kind of a more conversational show. So if you're interested in that, that is over on Patreon, and that's just patreon.com/monsonmadethis. But again, links below. Like this video if you like it. If you want more of these Q&A videos, definitely comment below. And yeah, maybe I'll do another one of these, maybe keep it regular. I think that's it. Thank you all. I appreciate all of your support and help. You all have a great time. I'll see you next time with probably the kitchen tour video, or maybe a recipe video will come in between those two, or between these two. Anyways, thank you. Have a great week. Bye.